Hey guys! So this video is going to be another disability discourse, and this one's going to be a little bit different. I've been thinking a lot about this series recently, and I realized that a lot of the videos in this series are going to be a bit of a downer. That's mainly because I want to talk about being a disabled person and existing in society and some of the interactions that happen with that, and a lot of those aren't super positive. So I want to talk about something fun this time, or at least something positive, you know? So this video is going to be about silver linings and things that I appreciate about having a disability. I would really love for you guys to join in with this one, especially because everyone's experience of disability is going to be different, and my 10 things, I have 10 things, my 10 silver linings are going to be completely different from yours, and even if they were exactly the same, I'm sure there's like a million things that I've forgotten. So I would love to hear your guys' silver linings about your illness or disability. If you want to leave them in the comments below, that'd be awesome. If you want to post them elsewhere and link me to them, please do that. I really would love to hear your perspective on this. So like I mentioned, I have 10 silver linings. You can have as many or as few as works out for you. I have 10, some of them are really silly, some of them are a little more serious, and I'm just going to jump right into them. So number 1 is more empathy. Now, I was diagnosed with arthritis at 13. I started having symptoms at 12, so I would hope that any adult would have more empathy than a 13-year-old. However, I do feel like I developed a lot of empathy very quickly, and I feel like I have more empathy than I would otherwise have had if I didn't have arthritis, even as an adult. The reason for this is, like, getting something like arthritis very young, or any disability, any illness, like, it just shows you that things happen to people. Like, things that you never ever thought would happen to you happen to people, and I feel like that's a really important lesson in terms of relating to other people in all sorts of situations. Especially having an invisible illness, I feel like that taught me a lot about not judging people by how they appear. Like, someone can look completely fine and you just can't know if they are or not. Whether that's physically or emotionally, you just can't possibly know someone's story from looking at them. So I'm really grateful for that lesson because I don't know, I feel like, I mean, everyone's a bit of an asshole when they're 13, right? Like, I feel like that's just like asshole central, but I was definitely a bit of an asshole at 13, and so I'm really glad that I have a little more empathy and sympathy for people in their situations now. I definitely see a lot more grey than black and white these days. Okay, number 2 is medical knowledge. So as someone who goes through the medical system with like depressing regularity, you tend to pick up some medical knowledge just by osmosis, whether that's about medications or whether that's about the whole system and how it works, or just like random stuff that isn't even related to your disability that you pick up. Like, this has been one of the most useful things about having a disability for me, because when my friends need medical help, or if they are given a new medication that I know someone who's been on or that I've been on, I can let them know what to expect. And when I went into this whole medical thing, I feel like I was super blind. I hadn't really been to the doctors terribly much before my diagnosis, and so I just had no idea what to expect. And especially with medications, I really wish that I'd known someone who like had been on things like DMARDs or steroids or anti-inflammatories before and could have told me what to expect from those kind of medications, because some of the side effects are pretty nutty. So yeah, medical knowledge is great. It's great in terms of helping other people and even helping yourself out. So I think that's just a really handy thing that I don't necessarily think of that as a side effect of having a disability, but obviously I wouldn't have been exposed to all this information if I didn't have a disability, so it is. Okay, number 3, I'm more patient and I am kind of forced to slow down and think about my choices. So I still wouldn't classify myself as a super patient person. I definitely have a tendency to rush through things and try to like push things to go faster. However, you just have to be more patient when you have a disability. Sometimes things are going to be slow, sometimes things are going to take longer than they would for someone else or than you would like them to, and that's just a reality. And I feel like during times when my life is like a lot slower, like during flare-ups and things. When things really slow down, I have this forced time where I think about my life and think about my decisions and try to decide if I'm doing the right thing and if I'm on the right track. And I think I'm the kind of person who I really need to be forced to do that, because if I wasn't forced to do that, I would just keep going like full force in one direction. I would never think about like other possibilities. I would just be like, this is what I decided, I'm going for it, let's do it fast and like as best as we can, do it. But because sometimes I'm forced to not do things in a hurry, I have this opportunity to slow down and just think about, is this really the best way we could be doing this? Okay, number 4 is kind of related to that, and that is forced self-care. So for a lot of people with especially chronic illnesses and mental illnesses, stress is a really, really huge factor in flare-ups and problems with them. So for me, that's definitely the case, and I've had to become so much more aware of my well-being, like my not just my physical well-being but also my emotional well-being. I have to be like hyper sensitive to when I'm getting stressed out, and if I'm getting stressed out, I really need to take a step back and figure out what's doing that and kind of maybe put a few things on the back burner, because otherwise I'm gonna end up in hospital or I'm gonna not be able to get out of bed for a couple of weeks. Like, it's just not worth it. So like I said in the last point, previously, and still to like a pretty high degree sometimes, if I'm honest, I'm the kind of person who will rush through things. I'll push myself too hard. I'm very, very bad at accepting my limits, but at least now I am aware of my limits and I have a much better handle on like knowing my warning signs, if that makes sense. And my illness definitely forced that. Like I'm still not great at it, but I was terrible before I got sick. So yeah, I think being forced to look after yourself a bit better is definitely a positive of having a disability. Number 5 is a silly one, and that is super high pain tolerance. So obviously it's kind of a given, right? Like, I've been in varying degrees of pain for over a decade now, and I have one of the highest pain tolerances of people that I know. But it is useful because it means that you are resilient as F. Like, you can get through a lot, and you know that you can get through a lot. So I think, like, I don't know, it's just super handy, and especially, God, this is gonna sound really depressing and dark, but like if I go to A&E, like the emergency room, or to hospital, and I know that there's gonna be tests done and they might be painful, like it's good to know that I have that pain tolerance in my back pocket where I'm like ready. God, that sounds awful. Is that a silver lining? That sounds freaking terrible. Okay, never mind. On to the next one. Let's ignore that I like elaborated on that at all. Number 6 is problem solving, adaptability, and thinking outside the box. So this is something that I didn't think of immediately when I was thinking about positives of my disability, and that's just because it comes so naturally now that I kind of don't even see it anymore. But the reality is that the world is not made for people with disabilities, or at least the vast majority of the world is not. And so when you're dealing with things that aren't designed for you to be able to use, you have to think outside the box. You have to think of ways that you can deal with that. So a super simple example would be like opening a door. Like, for an able person, that is like like you don't even think about it, you just open the door with your hand. For disabled people, or some disabled people anyway, myself included, sometimes that's a freaking chore, and you have to figure out a way that isn't your hand, because your hand is like a useless claw thing. You have to figure out a new way to open the door. And that's a really simple example, but obviously this extends to other things. And I found this is one of the most useful skills I've had in life, where like I can think of solutions that might not be the typical straight line solution, just because my brain is used to working out ways to be able to do things that I might otherwise not be able to do. So instead of staying stuck in a room with the door closed because I can't open it with my hand, I open it with my elbow, or I open it with my face, or like whatever, like, you know, you just figure it out. So number 7 is a really important one, and that is resilience and optimism. Now, these aren't necessarily things that I see in myself, but things that I notice in other people with disabilities. I think I must have them, I think I just don't see it. But basically, So let's take me as an example. So I am in varying degrees of pain every day, as I mentioned earlier, and that's only going to get worse for me. Like, arthritis is a deteriorative disease. It's just going to get worse. I'm going to need joint replacements, blah, blah, blah. Like, you get it. Like, there isn't a happy ending here. There isn't like a, or at least physically, there isn't a happy ending. Like, statistics all show that this isn't going to go, it's not going to go away, it's never going to be cured, or at least it's likely never going to be cured. And so to be able to deal with that thought every day, to be able to wake up every day knowing that this is how things are now and that things aren't going to get better is, I think, amazing. And as I said, I don't really see this in myself, but when I see other people with illnesses that will likely never be cured, who get up every day and do things every day, like, regardless, despite that, I'm just so amazed by that. I just have so much admiration for that level of resilience, I guess is the only word that I can think of, because I think as humans we want to have like that light at the end of the tunnel where we're like, yeah, okay, if I just get through like this long, then it's gonna be okay. But a lot of disabled people don't have that, and so to keep going in spite of that is just something that I will be forever impressed by. Okay, number 8, new standards for appreciation. So this is like, when I thought about this, I thought like specifically about my body, but there's a whole, like, I think this applies to a lot of things, which is why I said new standards for appreciation rather than like new standards for body positivity. So for me, I'm going to use my body as an example because that's, like, as I said, what I thought about. So I used to like have a lot of problems with my body, and I'm not saying that I don't, but like just the way that I look and not liking it and feeling bad and wanting things to change and things like that. And I still have those thoughts sometimes. I think most people do, as sad as that is. However, since getting sick and since having this illness for quite a while, like, if I can go for a jog, I'm like, oh my god, my body is like a functional body. This is amazing. Wow, what an amazing body. Holy, this is fantastic. And on like really bad days, if I can like hobble through to the kitchen and make myself a really good cup of tea, I'm like, wow, this body is doing its best. This body is incredible. So I just feel like it's so nice to appreciate my body for the things that it can do instead of the things that it doesn't look like, if that makes sense. Because, like, you just gain a new appreciation for even the smallest tasks that your body can complete, and that's pretty cool. I like being able to think of my body in a positive way instead of always thinking about it negatively. Okay, number 9 needs a bit of explanation. Number 9 is seeing friends and family for who they truly are. And when I first got diagnosed, I would definitely have classified this as a negative. So when I was first diagnosed at 13, and from there until around, I'd say 16, 17, I lost a lot of friends, whether that was from long periods of absence from school or university, due to illness and hospital stays, or whether that was because I was a young person and I hobbled around looking like an old person, and a lot of my friends at the time found that embarrassing. Just all sorts of reasons, like, I lost a lot of friends, and I think that happens to a lot of people who aren't born with a disability but get one later in life, because you don't choose your friends, like, before you have a disability, you don't choose your friends thinking like, is this person going to be around when I get disabled? No, you don't. So a lot of people won't be, and that's okay. That's not, I don't know, I'm not saying these people are terrible people or anything like that. It's just that they're not the right people for you as your friends. So like I said, this sounds like a negative. It's not, because while I lost a lot of friends initially, the friends that I have now and the friends that I've had for like the past 5-7 years, like, the quality of those people is incomparable. And I am ceaselessly, I am endlessly amazed by their generosity, their kindness, their understanding, their, like, just everything about them. And so I feel like I've surrounded myself somehow, I don't know how, I don't know what I did to deserve them, but I've surrounded myself with people who are just incredible, and that's in large part due to my disability, because like the not incredible people or the not right people for me don't stick around. And that's been a real blessing, because you don't even have to really think about who's the right person to be your friend, because if they're still around after like a couple of flare-ups, then damn, like yes. And I'm not saying, like, please don't think I'm saying that this should be a one-way street and they should support you endlessly without you doing anything. Obviously, friendship is a two-way street and you should absolutely be supportive in things as well. I guess I'm just saying that, especially if you're a person who is new to having a disability, newly diagnosed, anything like that, don't think that this is what it's going to be like forever. Don't think that there aren't people out there who will accept you and support you, because there are so many, and you'll find them and they'll be amazing. Okay, number 10, last one, and this is very related to this video series and just like what I try to do with my life in general, and that is becoming a part of the disabled community. Now, I don't know where I'd be without the disabled community, to be perfectly honest with you. The disabled community has helped me so much, like in countless ways. I don't feel alone in my experience because of the disabled community, especially the online disabled community, because obviously for a lot of disabled people, and especially when you really need that support, you can't necessarily go to like a meetup. Like getting out of bed or getting out of hospital is not a possibility. So the fact that there are other people out there who are willing to share their experiences and who can relate to you on that level and just understand without you having to explain, like the fact that there's all these resources from other disabled people who've taken the time out of their schedule to like just to help other disabled folks without any like other motive, without any incentive. Like, the disabled community is the best and most accepting and kindest community I've ever been a part of, without question. And when I first started kind of blogging about having a disability and talking about having a disability openly, I was really nervous about the whole gatekeeping aspect of coming into a new community. So I was concerned about not being disabled enough, because a lot of able people always told me, oh, you don't have a disability because it's invisible, you know. Although, I mean, pretty visible if you ask me. But yeah, a lot of able people had told me for years and years that I wasn't disabled enough, or that I wasn't sick enough, and all that stuff. So when I first started coming into the disability community, I just thought, I'm not disabled enough and they're not going to accept me. That's not the case. If you are new to the disability and disabled community, please don't think you're not disabled enough. There is no such thing. I've never ever seen someone be like ostracized or shunned for not being disabled enough. That's not a thing that happens. Like, don't question it. You're fine. Come and join us. We love people and everyone is just so kind, so accepting. I cannot say enough good things about the disabled community. Like, I'm just always in awe of everything about it, really, and I'm just so grateful that I got to meet these incredible people and know, like, and just get help and support from them. Like, I hope that I can repay even like a millionth of what I've got from the disability community. Okay, so after those last two like really sappy ones, sorry, that's the end of my silver linings personally. As I said at the start, I would love for you guys to join in with this. If you have anything that you want to say about positives from your disability or your illness, let me know. I would love to hear your perspective on it. And apart from that, I will talk to you guys next time.